Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a Stitches and Stencil video, which means I will be doing some stitching and stenciling on my layout. I'm also using a bunch of products from some Assemblage required. I'll put links for those products down below if you are interested in them. I'm also playing along with Baby Got Scraps, which means I'm using a whole bunch of scraps from my scrap bin, and this layout is going to be primarily pink. I know I just recently did a pink layout last weekend, but I'm going to do another one, and that is because this is about my niece's oldest daughter, who is now 5, and this is just after she was born, and she was 6 weeks early and very tiny. So I have this wood veneer from MK over at Some Assemblage Required, and it says, "Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart," and it is a quote from Winnie the Pooh. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that as my title piece. I know it's a little bit long, but it's a wood veneer and it's small. So I'm going to use that because she is just a tiny, tiny little thing. And then I also have some wooden hearts, and they came out of a pack that use some scripty words that say baby, brother, sister, mommy, and daddy, I believe, or I'm pretty sure that's what it says. I don't have it in front of me, you guys, but it is basically, you know, all the members of the family. And so I'm going to use the hearts out of that pack. I really think they're super cute, and I really like them because they're not like a generic heart. I don't even know how to describe it, but they're a little bit sketchy looking, and so I think they're super cute. I'm going to use those, and then at the very end I'm going to come in with some wooden handprints, baby handprints, that are also from MK's shop, and they are adorable as well. Now, I started out working on this layout at a retreat, so I am using a stencil. The stencil has a bunch of hearts on it. I think it's a Simple Stories stencil. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll try to put a link for it down below. I'll have to look it up to see which one it is. But I will put that link down below in case you're interested in that. And then I am going to also use a bit of carnation pink paper glaze to do through that stencil to do the stencil work. And I think that looks really cute. I really like how it is. It's really kind of simple and subtle, and I know it's really hard to see it over that really dark pink on the right hand side, but in real life you can see it, and it's not overpowering, just subtle. And then I have this piece of paper that basically was used to pick up a bunch of ink off of my glass mat at home. I had leftover ink, so I just sprayed it with a bunch of water and picked it up on one of these 4.5 by 6.5 inch photo mats from Hobby Lobby, and I just stuck it in my bin with all of the pink things that I have. So, well, actually it has all of my warm colored scraps in it. So that is where that little piece came from, and I left it large. Normally I don't leave my borders around my photographs large. There you can see the wood pieces that say, I think it says Mama and Papa. I don't know. It's super cute though, and I love the font that she used for that. And there's those hearts. I think they're just adorable. I pulled out some 49 and Market pink ephemera pieces, tickets, and postage stamps to pull those in. I think those are really cute, and they go very well with it. I also have a photo frame that is from 49 and Market that I'm going to be using later on this layout. Pretty much all the pink things, you guys. And I think it just is very fitting for her. She is she's a bit of a girly girl, but she does have a tomboy side. But I think it's just fitting for her. And there's a lot of pink in the photographs there of her tiny, tiny baby hands. So I thought that was perfect. I'm bringing in a bit of fiber here. This is some lace that my friend Janie gave me. And I'm going to tuck that in just to kind of soften it up and give a little bit of extra texture to this layout. Now, I am not going to do the stitching on this layout until much later because I didn't take my sewing machine to the retreat I was at while I was working on it, and so I had to wait until I was back at home. And so you're going to see that towards the very end, which is normally when I would do my stitching anyway, because I like it to show, and I kind of pick the places where it's going to go when I'm more towards the finished stages of the layout. So you're going to see that in a bit. I do have a bit of a problem with my sewing machine. The tension on the bobbin was very loose, and so you will see that it's got a bunch of it's I don't know, it's super messy on the back of the layout. It looks fine on the front, but the back is super messy. So I think I finally have figured out what setting it should be on. And towards the end of the layout, I figured it out, and it's much better, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about the hot mess on the back of the layout, but I'll figure that out at another time. So once it's in a page protector, you're not going to see it anyway, so I'm not super worried about it, but I don't want it to get caught on another layout when you're trying to slide it in and out of a page protector. So I'm adding some pink sequins to this one. I think it's going to be really cute just to kind of sparkle it up, and I just add 3 in each of the 2 areas that I've got going on here for embellishments. I am going to add a 3rd embellishment area at the bottom of the layout, which is going to include that pink frame that I mentioned earlier. Now for stitches and stencils, this is a series that MK over at Some Assemblage Required and Sandie over at State Goddess and I came up with about a year ago, a little bit less than a year ago, while we were at a retreat together. And so they will probably have layouts up on their channel today as well, using stencils and stitching. And the stitching could be sewing with a sewing machine, or it could be hand stitching. It doesn't really matter, but the idea was to feature the stitching and stenciling somewhere on the layout. So I am now going to do a little bit more stencil work on this little white piece of paper before I put this frame around it, because I want to add a little bit more of that texture down into the framed area into my 3rd embellishment cluster. I did use a little bit of black soot distress ink to edge the papers there, and then I am going to go around things with everything with a sketchy line with my Muji pen, just to bring in some depth and a different color. I didn't want to bring in too much of a different color because there's not really a whole lot going on in these photos, but other than the pink, the white, and the black, and her little baby skin, which is very pink anyway. So I thought the sketchy line would work, and I actually go around the frame and the outside of the layout with that pen. So I'm going to add a few little sequins down at the bottom, and using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive and my Crystal Katana, which is the little jewel picker or sequin picker that I'm using there. It works very well, and I've never had any problems with it. So it's my favorite tool for picking up gems and sequins in those tiny little bits. I'm going to tuck the extra piece of that frame right underneath my wood veneer piece here, and that's just going to give me a place to write the date. And then I can also write maybe, I'm not really sure, I haven't decided yet, and I need to check in with her mom, but I know I'm going to write her birth date, which actually happens to be on my husband's birthday, which I think is super cool. And then I want to make sure I capture that she was 6 weeks early, and her weight and height. So of course, you know, all of the vital statistics for a newborn. And some of those, if I can fit them in that side piece, I will put them in there, and then maybe write a little note about what was going on that day for her in the bottom, if I have room. We'll have to see about that. Okay, so now I am back at my house, and I am working on doing the stitching. You can see that just terrible mess. You also can see that I am back in my wrist brace. At my retreat, I did make the mistake of lifting the cooler by myself, and you know, trying to do it all myself, and strained my wrist again. And so I'm trying to be very good about protecting it and letting it heal completely this time, and not do anything crazy right after it heals. So, I mean, I didn't think that lifting the cooler would be that crazy, but it is a new cooler and it's a lot heavier than our old cooler. So, plus it was full of ice. So, I don't know. Anyway, that's beside the point. And all I'm doing here is I'm pulling the threads from the front of the layout to the back of the layout, and I am just using some washi tape to hold it on the back, but I don't use washi tape all the way around the outside. Okay, so here we have the wood veneer feet and hands, and then there is a whole set of baby stuff. It's got a bottle and a pacifier and a rattle and diapers, the little mitts, blocks, a teddy bear, a little tiny crib, and a stroller, an ultrasound picture. I don't know. It's got tons of stuff, a duck, and it's super cute. But I felt like the handprints worked the best on this layout because there are 3 little photos of her tiny, tiny, tiny hands. And so I decided to go ahead and use the handprints over all of the other things. And I will save those for another layout about her or one of her siblings or the little guy I take care of. I've got lots of babies in my life right now, so I think I'll save those for another day. That is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, you know what? I didn't mention Baby Got Scraps. I'm going to have a list down below for you of all of the people who are playing along for Baby Got Scraps, so you can go and check that out too. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, go ahead and throw those down below. I will respond as quickly as I can. I'm super behind in that, but be patient and I will get back to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.